What's up, guys? This is Anime Crossover. I'm back with another episode of What If Naruto Was the Red Flash Part 4. And if you did enjoy this video, give this video a like, and if you're new to my channel and like my content, subscribe and hit that notification bell for more crossover fictions with a twist. Now let's begin this new video.
Oh my god, congratulations, Caitlin said as she hugged him, and he reciprocated. This is incredible, Naruto. This discovery is game-changing. You have the blueprints to something worth billions, Barry stated as Naruto smiled. I know, this is unbelievable, Naruto responded. Most importantly, I believe your parents would be very proud that you accomplished something they could never do, Dr. Wells stated, as Naruto grinned. Caitlin inquired, so, what's next? Are you going to build it? That's easier said than done. Actually building the reactor would require a lot of time, resources, and capital, Naruto explained. Fortunately, Dr. Wells replied as Naruto gazed at him, I believe that Star Labs should have everything we need to actually build it. What? Naruto inquired. When we started working on the early calculations for the arc reactor, I made sure that Star Labs had everything we'd need to build a prototype. Granted, most of the material was already here, but I made sure the rest of the raw materials we'd need were here at our disposal, Dr. Wells said as Naruto smiled. Then let's build this thing, but first, we're going out tonight to celebrate our little discovery, Cisco remarked, wrapping his arm around Naruto's neck. Yes, this definitely warrants a drink, Caitlin replied as they dragged Naruto out of Star Labs and into a bar. Joe was also invited, and the group drank and celebrated the important scientific breakthrough. Following their celebration, Naruto, Cisco, and Dr. Wells began drafting the blueprints and schematics for the reactor's construction and location. Dr. Wells stated that they could build it in the open area around the particle accelerator ring because it was the only spot left in Star Labs where the reactor would fit without requiring a massive construction team to create new space. It was also in a great location for linking to the Star Labs system, and the particle accelerator's reactor ring would act as an insulator and protective ring if anything went wrong. It's been a solid week since the arc reactor became a viable notion, and they've finished the real blueprints and assembly of the reactor's minor parts, such as circuit boards and palladium ring parts. Dr. Wells would normally need a large team of other scientists and engineers to construct anything like this, but with Cisco and Naruto, he had everything he needed. Cisco was the best engineer, and with Naruto's extraordinary speed and Barry's help whenever he offered, work that would normally take years could be completed in months. While Cisco and Dr. Wells were working on the thermoelectric capacitor device that would absorb extra waste heat and energy, Naruto was in the brain going through some notes in his parents' notebook. Naruto was taking notes when he heard footsteps and turned to see Caitlin enter with 2 mugs of coffee. Hey, even scientists need a break now and then, Caitlin said as she handed him a cup. Thank you, Naruto said as he eagerly accepted it. How's work? Caitlin said as Naruto nodded. It's slow, as one would expect with something this large, but Dr. Wells said we're making good progress for this type of project, Naruto commented as he sipped his drink and closed his notebook. However, I'll be finished with college in another month, and I spoke with the dean, who said he'll be ready to give me my diploma in December. How did you do it? Caitlin said as Naruto smiled. People who finish college in the first semester still have to wait until May. As Caitlin glanced at Naruto, he replied, I made a very good argument, and I may have made a substantial donation to the school to sway his decision. I'd be careful, Naruto. You may have that kind of money, but don't spend it in the wrong places. I can't believe the Dean of Education could be swayed like that, Caitlin cautioned, as Naruto smirked. Would you say the same thing if you were in his position? Joked Naruto as Caitlin grinned. Perhaps it'd have to be a fairly substantial donation, Caitlin joked as she sipped her coffee. So, are you doing anything tomorrow night? Why? Naruto inquired. Well, Cisco is bringing me to the Angelica movie theater for a screening of Forbidden Planet. Leslie Nielsen before his comedy days. It's not really my thing, but Cisco managed to convince me. Want to come with? Caitlin inquired. Oh, that sounds fantastic, but I can't, Naruto answered. Why not? Caitlin inquired. I actually have a date Friday night, Naruto revealed, surprising Caitlin. Really? A date? Like a date? Caitlin inquired as Naruto gave her an odd look. Yes, why is it so difficult to believe I have a date? Naruto inquired. Oh, nothing. It's just that, since we've known you, you've never really mentioned or experienced dating, Caitlin explained as Naruto laughed. Well, I had a life before I was struck by lightning. I've gone on my fair share of dates. I've got the looks and the brain, Naruto joked. Okay, sorry for the confusion, but who is the lucky lady? Caitlin inquired. Her name is Linda Park, and and she's the sports reporter for Central City Picture News. We met at Jitters, and we've gone on a few lunch dates since then, but tomorrow's going to be our first dinner date, Naruto explained as Caitlin smiled. Great, so what do you have planned for tomorrow? Caitlin inquired. Well, Linda actually made plans for tomorrow. There's this Mexican place she knows about for dinner, Naruto added as Caitlin nodded. Okay, and what are your plans for the night? You do have plans, don't you? Caitlin inquired as Naruto stared at her. Of course, I have my own plans. This isn't my first rodeo, Naruto said. True, but with my help, we can make it a first date she'll never forget, Caitlin replied as she took her luggage. You know, you're like the older sister I never had, Naruto explained. And you're like the younger brother I'd enjoy tormenting, Caitlin added as she yanked him out of the chair. Naruto inquired, where are we going? Come on, I'm going to help plan a date that this girl will never forget, she remarked as she drew him out of Star Labs. The next day, at 6 p.m., a few minutes before Naruto was meant to meet Linda, he was in his shelter room, rummaging through his clothing to choose an outfit for tonight. Tsunade, Shizune, Caitlin, and Kurama, who were acting as his support, were also there to help him. As Naruto stepped in wearing a dress shirt, dress pants, and vest, the women and Kurama were seated in the kitchen drinking wine. This? Naruto inquired as they turned to face him. They murmured, waving their hands in a so-so way.
What else have you got? Shizune inquired as Naruto dashed back to his room and reappeared in an instant. He was dressed in pants and a button-up shirt this time.
What about this? Naruto inquired. It's too casual. Not what you want on a first date if you like her, Caitlin added, nodding his head in accord. She's right. Maybe a second date. Next, Tsunade replied as Naruto dashed back to his room, returning with a black dress pant, red button shirt, tie, and black sports jacket ensemble. This one? I actually like this one, Naruto stated after a little moment of silence. Not bad. Not too formal for a first date, but doesn't say you're a slob, Tsunade stated as Naruto looked at her. Thank you, Naruto said. Shizune commented, I like it. A formal casual rift, and anything red and orange is your color, Naruto.
Certainly, I think you're all set for your date, Caitlin replied as she approached him and adjusted his collar. And do you remember what we talked about? Yup, I'll see you later, ladies, Naruto remarked as he flew away. Naruto dashed through town on his route to Linda's apartment, but not before stopping at a flower shop. Linda emerged from her apartment to find Naruto standing on the sidewalk with a bouquet of white roses. Linda grinned as Naruto added, "Oh, punctual." Naruto smiled and responded, "One of my many quirks."
And is that a lovely bouquet of flowers for me? Linda inquired as Naruto smiled.
I hope it's all right, I got the white ones, Naruto replied as Linda smiled and accepted them.
No, it's awesome, and it's also my favorite color, Linda responded as Naruto smiled. Okay, Naruto responded as the two of them headed down the street to the Mexican restaurant. Linda challenged Naruto to the spiciest tacos in Central City, and Naruto was more than willing to accept the challenge. They stared at one another after finishing their tacos, as if one was about to crack, and Naruto was close, with beads of sweat flowing down his brow but trying to remain strong as Linda grinned. Naruto stared at the glass of water on the table and believed he could do it, but he couldn't, so he drank the full glass as Linda cheered. Oh, my god, Naruto exclaimed, his tongue still on fire. Linda stated, I told you these were the spiciest tacos in Central City. Naruto responded, oh, I thought you were bluffing. Linda chuckled as Naruto said, I never bluff. However, you performed far better than I anticipated. Yeah, I thought I ate nothing spicier than Tsunade's 5-alarm curry, but I was proven wrong today, Naruto laughed. I guess I'm tougher than you. Let's face it, I'm the champion of all things spicy, Linda replied. You are the world's spice champion, Naruto said as Linda laughed. Well, this requires soap and water, I'll be right back, Linda remarked, nodding as Naruto wiped his lips with a napkin. Naruto's phone rang as he received a text from Caitlin wondering how the date was going, so he quickly replied as Linda returned. Okay, Naruto. What's next? Linda inquired as Naruto smiled. He got to his feet, paid for his lunch, and grabbed his jacket. Something I think you'll like, Naruto added as he led her out of the restaurant and down the street. Naruto then led them to one of the city's most exclusive and well-known jazz clubs, which had a line around the block. Okay, nice thought, but this place is extremely exclusive. Even the city leadership and elite have difficulty getting in, Linda stated as Naruto smiled and they approached the bouncer. Unless you're on the list, the line starts back there, the bouncer explained. It should be under Namikaze, Naruto remarked as the bouncer looked at him and saw he was +1. The bouncer unhooked the velvet rope and stepped back. "Enjoy your evening, Mr. Namikaze." "Thank you," Naruto said as he and Linda entered a cool jazz ambiance with fantastic drinks and a night of great dancing ahead of them. "How did you get on the list? Are you the owner's son?" Linda inquired as Naruto grinned. "Nothing like that. A little money and I have a friend with the CCPD to whom the manager owed a favor," Naruto replied as Linda looked forward to the dance floor. "Okay, Namikaze, show me what you've got," Linda remarked as she and Naruto danced on the floor. Naruto walked Linda back to her apartment at 1 a.m., after hours of waiting. "So, how did you enjoy yourself tonight?" Naruto inquired as they approached her apartment. "I got to torture you with spicy food and enjoy an evening of amazing music and dancing tonight, and I can definitely say that tonight was one of the best dates I've had in a long time," Linda smiled. "Me too," Naruto answered as Linda moved in for a brief kiss before parting. "What was that all for?" Linda explained as Naruto smiled, "To see if I wanted a second date." "And?" Naruto inquired. "Please let me see one more time," Linda begged as Naruto kissed her. Before Linda moved away, the kiss was a touch hot but not too much. "Definitely." Linda grinned as she entered her building. Naruto smiled as he walked away, but suddenly accelerated into a high-speed sprint through the city. "Woohoo!" yelled Naruto as he dashed across the city. Dr. Wells was at Star Labs, studying through Naruto's recent speed tests and the designs of the arc reactor while Naruto was out on a date. He gazed at them before walking away from the cortex and into the corridor where his secret room was located. He walked in, stood up, and walked over to the podium as the door closed behind him. When he pressed against it, a hologram of a woman's head appeared. The hologram said, "Good evening, Dr. Wells." "Good evening, Gideon," Dr. Wells replied as he removed his spectacles to meet the hologram. Gideon inquired, "Is there something wrong?" "Yes, some recent events I've witnessed have piqued my interest, and has the future remained the same?" Dr. Wells inquired. "Yes, with a minor change," Gideon answered as she brought up the item from 2024, the headline of which had changed since the previous time Dr. Wells had viewed it. It used to say, "Flash missing vanishes in crisis, Impulse hospitalized," but now it says, "Flash missing vanishes in crisis, Impulse pushes city to keep hope." The names on the byline remained the same, but the headline, text of the piece, and image had all changed. It still showed a picture of the Flash, but a different one of Impulse. It featured Impulse dressed in a black, white, and dark orange costume. The pants and boots were black with intense orange shin stripes. The suit's upper half was a blend of white and dark orange. The gloves were black with orange finger embellishments and forearm protectors. Dark orange highlights were visible on the biceps and around the rib cage. The lightning bolt emblem on the chest, as well as the lightning bolts on the ear, were dark orange, while the remainder of the suit was white, including the face mask. Everything was exposed save the top of his head to show off his spiky blonde hair and the top of his nose to his mouth. 1.
How is this even possible? Dr. Wells wondered. It appears that his accelerated training and drive have accelerated Naruto's destiny by 10 years. He has grown tremendously compared to the previous timeline, Gideon stated, while Dr. Wells was both concerned and amazed. But the rest of the timeline remains intact. Dr. Wells inquired.
Yes, while Impulse's fate has been slightly altered, the rest of the timeline has remained unchanged. It appears your plan B is working well, Dr. Wells, Gideon stated as Dr. Wells nodded. Dr. Wells answered, "Indeed it would, Gideon. XXXXX line break." Dr. Wells arrived at Star Labs early the next morning to visit his hidden room without being seen. He entered the room and, after everything was secure, stood up and walked over to the podium, where he activated Gideon.
Gideon said, "Good day, Dr. Wells. One can always hope, Gideon. Would you bring up my log, would you?" Dr. Wells requested as he removed his glasses. "Certainly," Gideon said, pulling up a record of various entry records. "Go right ahead, Doctor."
New entry for subjects A and B. It has now been 311 days since lightning struck and events are not going as planned, especially with subject B, but, first things first. Subject A is acting exactly as I predicted he would, and it appears that I should have anticipated this kind of progress path. Subject A has begun relying on his speed in everyday life, using his extraordinary powers to solve ordinary problems and accomplish ordinary tasks. The biggest surprise is with Subject B now. Going into this endeavor, I understood that Subject A was necessary, but after discovering my connection with Subject B, a backup plan seemed feasible. In the ensuing years, the connection to Subject B and his parents has been invaluable, yet I have not realized how much they have affected myself and my backup plan until recent days since the lightning strike. It would appear that Subject B's importance has improved the chances of my overall endeavor. In more ways than one, Dr. Wells said as he finished his entry. Time will tell how much Subject B will continue to improve and if he will, at all, progress far enough for the endeavor to be completed ahead of time, but all signs point to yes. With a cup of coffee in hand, Naruto entered the cortex and noticed Caitlin and Cisco near the research lab. "Good morning, guys," Naruto remarked as he sipped his coffee and approached them. "Morning," Cisco said as he and Caitlin smiled and stared at Naruto, who spotted them staring. "Okay. You two are starting to scare me," Naruto said. "How was the date, man?" Cisco inquired, noticing Naruto's smile. "A gentleman doesn't usually kiss and tell, but it went great, even if the dinner burned my tongue," Naruto laughed as he sipped his coffee. "And the club afterward?" Caitlin inquired. "A fantastic idea, great drinks, amazing music, and a chance to show off my awesome dance skills to Linda," Naruto said as Cisco laughed. "Naruto, the dancing, lady slaying machine. Give me some," Cisco said as he and Naruto high-fived. "It was great, and she was great. I haven't had this much fun on a date in a long time," Naruto stated.
Caitlin inquired, "How long has it been?" "She was a friend of mine, Hinata, and our group of friends thought we could be a thing. We tried but it wasn't meant to be. She ended up dating a friend of mine, Kiba," Naruto explained.
"Well, you win some, you lose some," Cisco explained. "But Linda is wonderful. In fact, we're going on another date tonight," Naruto explained. "Really?" Caitlin inquired. "Aren't you concerned that you're moving too quickly?" Cisco inquired. "No, it's just a second date," Naruto explained. "Besides, we'd gone on several lunch dates before our date last night, so we'd gotten to know each other pretty well." No, I meant hurrying. "Look, you're fast, but there's fast and then there's fast," Cisco explained as Naruto shook his head. "Am I being too subtle?" Naruto sipped his coffee and responded, "Really not. Cisco is correct. With your increased blood flow and heart rate, your speed can theoretically cause you to—" "Okay, stop," Naruto shouted, stopping Caitlin from continuing her remark. "You're going to have to think about a lot of dead puppies. Like, a whole kennel. Baseball. Cold showers, you know, nuns," Cisco remarked as Naruto cleared his throat. "Okay, thank you both for the helpful yet terrifying advice, but it's just a second date, and besides, I handled myself perfectly fine at the club last night, and a lesser man would have had an accident," Naruto stated as Caitlin glanced at him.
"Really? How much experience?" Caitlin inquired as Naruto looked at Cisco, who hastily shook his head no.
"I'm not going to answer that," Naruto stated as Dr. Wells entered. "Morning, Dr. Wells." Dr. Wells inquired, "Morning, how was your evening, Naruto?" Dr. Wells grinned as Naruto said, "Incredible, to say the least." "Where's Barry? Isn't he late?" Dr. Wells asked, answering his own question.
Caitlin explained, "Late is kind of his signature move."
"Hey, you guys want to see my signature move?" Cisco inquired as a whoosh of air passed over them and Barry arrived with a cup of coffee.
"Look who decided to show up," Naruto remarked as Cisco and Caitlin laughed. "Sorry, got a little caught up," Barry said as they gazed at him. "Had to be there. I'm going to need a few minutes alone with Barry," Dr. Wells stated as Caitlin and Cisco walked away. Naruto rose up and approached Barry. "Oh, you're in trouble," Naruto remarked as he walked away, as Barry chuckled and sat. "May I remind you, Mr. Allen, that we agreed to help you with your heroics out there in exchange for you helping us research and develop your abilities in here?" Dr. Wells asked, "and it appears that you haven't been keeping your end of the bargain lately." "No, I know, I guess I've just gotten a little caught up in being able to help people. Put bad guys away, it feels good," Barry responded.
"Naruto assists you with that, and he still finds time for us to analyze his body and help test his abilities," Dr. Wells added as Barry nodded.
"All good causes. So, how can I help you do that? Do you need more MRIs? More blood?" Barry inquired.
Dr. Wells continued as Barry agreed, "I need more speed. Speed is the key to progress, and speed is the key to discovering the true nature of your abilities and their benefits to the rest of the world. You need to step it up a notch."
Dr. Wells came to a halt when he noticed Barry receiving a phone call. "There was a homicide. I'm sorry, I had to leave," Barry explained.
"Remember, this isn't just about you," Wells reminded him as he nodded.
Dr. Wells went to check on the others after Barry left for work. While Naruto was in the cosmic treadmill room, having just finished suiting up in some training attire, Cisco and Caitlin were doing their own thing. Dr. Wells asked as Naruto glanced at him, "Some more training, Naruto?"
"Yeah, I figured I'd take a break from the arc reactor and train for a while, Naruto explained as he put on his boots. Besides, I want to see how my powers develop and maybe see if I can outrun Barry. Dr. Wells laughed as he walked inside the control room. Alright, let the training begin, Dr. Wells stated over the speaker as Naruto began jogging on the treadmill, easily passing Mach 1 and averaging around 880 miles per hour. Naruto concentrated and pushed himself as hard as he could, but he was still only averaging 880 miles per hour. Come on. Come on. Faster, Naruto said as he tried to run faster but his speed remained constant. Naruto continued to try, but after a few minutes he noticed his speed wasn't rising, so he slowed down and came to a halt. As Dr. Wells entered the room, Naruto knelt to catch his breath. I'm not getting faster. I've been the same for a week. Why am I not getting faster?
I don't know. There's still a lot we don't know about your powers, Naruto. It could be any number of different factors: sleep, diet, metabolic rate, environment, mental condition, etc. But with a little more time and research, we'll figure out your abilities. Dr. Wells replied as Naruto nodded. However, I want you to know that I'm very impressed and proud of how far you've come since gaining your powers, and I'm sure your parents are as well. Thank you, Dr. Wells. I don't know where I'd be without your advice, Naruto replied as Dr. Wells smiled.
My pleasure. It's the least I can do. In the meantime, perhaps there are other aspects of your abilities we can improve besides your speed, Dr. Wells said as he left the room, and Naruto took a towel and a water bottle and followed him.
What other aspects? Naruto inquired as he sipped his drink. I mean, aside from the super reflexes and accelerated healing we've been testing, you're not going to shoot me, are you?
No, nothing like that, but while speed is your primary strength, there may be ways you and Barry can use it to your advantage, Dr. Wells explained. What exactly do you mean? Naruto inquired. That will be up to you to find out, Naruto. You're the one who is better at thinking outside the box than I am. Perhaps think less about running faster and more about other things you would normally do, Dr. Wells stated as he walked away, leaving Naruto perplexed.
Other things I normally do, Naruto answered, perplexed by what Dr. Wells had told him. What exactly does that mean? Naruto wiped his brow and sipped some water, reflecting on what Dr. Wells had said and how he could develop his abilities further. He swished his water bottle around, tossing it back and forth with his hands, remembering what Dr. Wells said when he had an idea. Naruto set the bottle down and gazed at his hands before concentrating and shaking his hands at super speed, as if they were vibrating. Thought Naruto as he grasped his water bottle with his left hand and held it out horizontally. He then resumed vibrating his right hand as before. I think I may be onto something. When he smacked the water bottle with his vibrating hand, it broke in half, causing the water to stream out and hit the floor. Naruto examined the two parts of the water bottle and noticed that the break appeared to be ripped cleanly in half.
Awesome, Naruto exclaimed as he decided to put his newfound power to the test in one of the vacant rooms. Naruto hurried about Star Labs gathering various objects to put his newfound skill to the test, which ranged from little wires to titanium steel beams. Alright, let's get started, Naruto said as he approached the wires, put his hand out in a karate chop motion, and began vibrating it. When he put his hand on the cable, it snapped in half like a twig. He continued to perform the same thing with chairs, a plastic table, a wooden table, and spare steel plates for the girder dummy, and they all split in half. The titanium steel beams came next. Naruto grabbed one and was going to do the same thing when he changed his mind. He tightened his fist and started vibrating it. More sparks of his white and orange lightning began to surge around his fist and arm as he concentrated. Arg! Yelled Naruto as he threw a fist that shattered through the titanium beam like it was made of paper. Awesome! What the hell is going on? Said Naruto as Cisco and Caitlin ran in, seeing Naruto in a slew of smashed objects. Sorry, guys. I was doing some training, Naruto explained. Training what? Your karate chop? Cisco inquired, picking up a shattered concrete brick. Something like that. Watch this, Naruto stated as he stepped around to the room's final titanium beam. He tightened his fist and began vibrating it before punching the beam in half like it was paper, thoroughly surprising Caitlin and Cisco. Dude, that was awesome, exclaimed Cisco. I had no idea you had super strength as well as super speed, Caitlin commented.
It's not super strength, it's just my speed applied in a different way, Naruto explained as Cisco examined Naruto's palm and the shattered metal beam. I'm guessing Naruto's using his speed to vibrate his fist because an object's force increases as it accelerates, which is why a car crash at 25 miles per hour is preferable to one at 55 miles per hour, Cisco explained. Caitlin added, or no car crash at all. You know what I mean. Anyway, Naruto's vibrating his fist at such high speeds that it has enough force to break the beam, allowing Naruto to punch through solid metal, and given that Naruto's already broken the speed of sound, I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of his punch, Cisco said as Naruto smiled.
Cool, I'm One Punch Man, Naruto remarked, perplexing Cisco and Caitlin. I really like the manga, so what should we call this new move? Caitlin remarked as Naruto and Cisco shook their heads. How about the Iron Fist? Not bad, but not that good either. More for someone with actual super strength. How about the Force Punch? Naruto questioned, shaking his head. No, the Infinite Mass Punch, Cisco explained as Naruto med. I like it, Naruto answered. Caitlin said, not bad. I know you're not yet at Infinite Mass, but it sounded better than Mass Punch, unless you'd rather go with a scientific label like molecular vibration. Cisco questioned, shaking his head. Infinite Mass Punch is good, Naruto responded as he received a text message from Tsunade. Hey guys, I'll be right back because Tsunade needs something.
Naruto hurried away from Star Labs and arrived at the shelter to see Tsunade preparing a soup stock base in the kitchen. Naruto inquired, hey, you said you needed to see me. Yeah, thanks for coming. I know you've got a date tonight, so could you help Shizune with dinner before you leave? I've got some errands to run in the city and I'll be gone for a while, Tsunade stated as Naruto nodded. Sure, no problem, Naruto replied as Kurama entered with a chew toy. Hey, buddy, do you want to hang out at Star Labs or are you fine where you are?
Kurama approached and snuggled into Naruto's fingers, and he knew just what he wanted. Alright, I'll be back before dinner to help Shizune, Naruto replied as Tsunade nodded. I made the soup base for the ramen. All you have to do is cook the noodles and add everything else, Tsunade said as Naruto nodded. Awesome, I'll see you later, Naruto remarked as he wrapped Kurama in his jacket to shield him while rushing them both to Star Labs. Kurama leapt out of Naruto's arms and onto the desk, shaking his fur and tail as he arrived at the cortex. Kurama fixed his gaze on Naruto, who shrugged. Sorry, buddy, but I don't think fur was meant to go faster than 100 miles per hour, Naruto remarked as Kurama leapt from the table and approached Caitlin. Dr. Wells stated as Naruto nodded, Naruto, Cisco told me that you took my lesson to heart and learned a new ability. The Infinite Mass Punch or Finite Mass Punch for now. Would have been nice to know when we were dealing with Girder. Naruto rubbed his hand as he remembered the discomfort of punching Tony. It'll come in handy, but you'll have to use it with caution and control, Dr. Wells stated as Naruto nodded. Yeah, I could do some serious damage with this thing, but it'll come in handy. I'll teach Barry later, Naruto remarked as Barry flew into the cortex at breakneck speed. Speaking of the devil.
Hey, guys, we've got another metahuman to deal with, and this one isn't pretty, Barry stated, holding out a flash drive with data from his laboratory.
Cisco stepped up to the computers and uploaded the data, and the first image they saw was of a charred corpse. Whoa, now I see what you meant by not pretty, Naruto exclaimed. What happened? Caitlin inquired as she approached with Kurama in her arms. Murder at the power plant. One of their workers was found like that. There's no sign of any other kind of accelerant or explosive, so it was a metahuman. Finding out who our victim is could help us find our killer, Barry explained. How are we going to figure out who he is when his face is burnt to a crisp? Naruto wondered. Never fear, because we have something called facial reconstructive software, which was designed for archaeologists and should help us identify your crispy corpse, Cisco stated. I'm more worried about how he got fried in the first place, Naruto explained. There were arc blasts, so it was most likely electricity, Barry explained. That kind of tissue damage would require a significant amount of electric static voltage, Dr. Wells added. Guys, there's an 82% chance your victim looked like this, according to the software, Cisco remarked as the computer displayed a 3D reconstruction of the victim's face. 82, Barry inquired. It was 0 when you walked in here, pal, Cisco said, laughing. Can you cross-reference that with the DMV database and maybe get a name? Barry inquired, as Cisco nodded. Absolutely, now that Felicity has reprogrammed it, this software can do just about anything, Cisco stated as he obtained a match. Casey Donahue. No wife, no kids. I used to work at the Petersburg electrical substation. Caitlin said, that can't be a coincidence. That's strange. Someone just used his ID to enter the substation, Cisco commented as the computers detected something.
The Petersburg grid is currently experiencing a power drain, Caitlin explained as Naruto gazed at the screen.
Naruto stated, that's not good. Barry, B. Dr. Wells was interrupted short as Barry walked away. Careful.
Naruto said as he walked away. I got him. Barry and Naruto donned their suits and dashed through the city to the substation. They came to a halt when they noticed a man receiving electricity from the main power conduit. Naruto slipped on his goggles and switched to electrical overlay mode, noticing that the power drain was causing a catastrophic system problem and a massive blackout.
Cisco, this guy's power drain will cause a massive blackout. How do I stop it? Naruto inquired.
You'll need to engage a system reset, and there's a panel on the north side, Cisco replied, looking at Naruto. Go, I got this, Barry shouted as Naruto dashed to the station's north side.
Alright, look for a black-colored panel, Cisco remarked as Naruto noticed it. He vibrated the lock, causing it to break, allowing Naruto to open it. Look for 4 electrical router switches and turn them all off. Naruto flipped all 4 switches, resulting in a large red light on the bottom. The station will begin resetting to its default settings. Now, hit the big red button on the bottom. It should normalize the system, Cisco instructed as Naruto did, and it appeared to work based on the noises of the wires and machines.
Thank you very much, Cisco, Naruto said. Arg, Naruto exclaimed as he hurried to see Barry on his knees after the metahuman struck him with electricity. Naruto froze for a split second as he noticed orange electricity being drawn from Barry's body and into the metahumans. Naruto charged forward and shoulder-checked the metahuman, knocking him to the ground. As Naruto approached, Barry collapsed to his knees in fatigue. Barry, are you alright? Naruto inquired as Barry struggled to regain his breath. Both of you get out of there, Dr. Wells yelled as Barry sprinted forward, but this time he wasn't traveling at superhuman speed.
Dr. Wells yelled, "Run, Barry." "I can't, my speed, it's gone," Barry remarked, startling Naruto and the others. XXXXX line break back at Star Labs. Barry was running at a normal pace of roughly 7 to 8 miles per hour on the cosmic treadmill, showing no signs of employing his super speed. Caitlin, Cisco, Dr. Wells, and Naruto, who was still in his impulse suit with his mask down, were all watching him. He runs slowly even for a normal person, Cisco observed as Barry came to a halt to collect his breath.
You can't just lose your powers because your DNA was transformed by the particle accelerator blast, and there's no way to reverse DNA transformation, Caitlin explained.
Tell that to the treadmill. That metahuman did something to Barry, Naruto stated as Kurama approached and sat next him.
So, we were wrong. This metahuman doesn't electrocute people, he siphons electricity, robbing you of your power, Dr. Wells explained. That would explain what I saw, seeing Barry's lightning sucked out of his body like some kind of force, Naruto explained as Barry sighed. Alright, do we think this is temporary or? Barry, sincerely concerned about losing his powers, asked Dr. Wells.
We need to run tests, Dr. Wells added as Barry was losing hope. Look, Barry, we'll figure something out. If this guy sucked out your lightning, maybe we just need to re-energize you. We won't stop until you get your powers back. Naruto patted Barry on the shoulder. Alright, I've got to warn Joe, Barry remarked as he stood up to depart. I promise you, Barry, we'll find a way to restore your speed, Dr. Wells stated.
And he always keeps his promises, just give us some time, Naruto continued as Barry nodded and walked away.
Well, this isn't good, Cisco muttered as he approached the treadmill.
I can't believe this is happening to Barry, Caitlin replied. We'll help him, Caitlin, the Flash hasn't left yet, Naruto responded as his phone rang. He accepted it and regarded it as a reminder to assist Shizune with supper and prepare for his date. Ah, crap, guys, I have to go to the shelter. I promised Tsunade I'd help with dinner, but I'll be back when I'm finished.
Caitlin inquired, wait, don't you have a date tonight?
Yeah, I'll call Linda and see if we can reschedule, Naruto responded.
No, Naruto. Caitlin, Cisco, and I will be fine for the time being while we figure out how to restore Barry's powers. You should go, Dr. Wells remarked as Naruto hesitated. Yeah, dude, we'll handle it for now, Cisco said.
Caitlin instructed him as Naruto nodded, go out and show Linda a good time.
Okay, but the next time you need me, text me, and I'll be there in a second, Naruto replied as they nodded. Can you keep an eye on Kurama?
Sure thing, we can keep an eye on the little guy, Cisco remarked, scratching Kurama on the head.
Okay, I'll have my suit with me in case of emergencies, Naruto remarked as he raced back to the shelter to assist Shizune in preparing dinner for the kids. He then ate a short dinner and prepared for his date. Barry explained what had transpired with the new metahuman and that they would have to rely on the police or Naruto until Star Labs could restore his powers. Dr. Wells went to his secret room after observing what had occurred to check on the future. Dr. Wells remarked as he touched the pedestal. "Gideon, show me the future." "Certainly, Doctor," Gideon said, bringing up the page to reveal a completely different title. It said, "Impulse Museum closed for reconstruction," and it showed a picture of the future Naruto dressed in his outfit with a demolished building.
Dr. Wells was stunned by what he was reading. The future had radically shifted, and despite the fact that Naruto was still alive and a speedster, the events that Dr. Wells required had not transpired. Dr. Wells exhaled, frustrated and desperate, knowing that time was running out.
"Run a full search and show any references to the Flash," Dr. Wells stated, echoing Gideon. Gideon responded, "Zero references to the Flash." "Look again," Dr. Wells said. Gideon responded, "Zero references." Dr. Wells instructed her to show any references to Barry Allen. Gideon responded, "Zero references to Barry Allen."
"Look again," exclaimed Dr. Wells. "I've looked 3,452 times, Dr. Wells, and there's nothing," Gideon responded. "Gideon, does Impulse encounter any of the same events as the Flash that lead to the same outcome as before?" Dr. Wells inquired as Gideon searched. "I'm afraid not, Dr. Wells. Without the Flash, the events did not occur as its fate is tied directly to that of Mr. Allen. Naruto's destiny is different than that of Mr. Allen's as his are tied to you, Dr. Wells. Mr. Allen must be the Flash for the events you need to occur." Gideon told him as Dr. Wells knew that while having Naruto as a plan B was a valid alternative, he needed Barry as the Flash for the plan to even exist. Dr. Wells' plan required the existence of the Flash, and he would return. Naruto had just finished his shower and was getting dressed. When he heard Shizune's voice, he adjusted his belt on his jeans and put on his black button-up. "Naruto!" Shizune exclaimed. He approached the front door to see what Shizune desired.
"What's up?" Naruto inquired as he noticed Shizune and Linda.
Shizune smiled as he stated, "You have a visitor."
Naruto said, "Linda, I thought I was going to pick you up."
"I thought I'd surprise you," Linda replied as Shizune heard several children calling her name.
"Well, I've got some things to do, so you two have fun tonight," Shizune stated as she walked away.
Linda commented, "She's nice." "Yeah, Shizune's the best. Tsunade is as well, but she's not here right now. Come on, I'll show you around," Naruto replied as he led her through the shelter. Linda inquired as they approached Naruto's room, "So, how long have you been living here?"
"Oh, nearly 2 years. I came here after my parents' car accident," Naruto explained as Linda consoled him.
Linda apologized, saying, "Oh, I'm sorry. It's fine. Tsunade and Shizune helped me a lot after their accident, and I've gotten my life back in order. Anyway, enough about that. So, here's what I've got planned for the night. First, a dinner reservation at Table Salt, then we head to an awesome jazz club to hear Mal Duncan, and if you're not sick of me by the end of the night, we can get some ice cream." Naruto smiled. "Or," Linda remarked as she kissed him and they both fell asleep on the bed. XXXXX line break. Back at Star Labs, Barry gazed longingly at his suit, wondering if he'd ever get to wear it again. When he heard footsteps and saw Caitlin with Kurama in her arms, he exhaled with sadness and was surprised to see Tsunade there as well. Tsunade remarked, "Hey, Barry." Barry grinned. "Hey, Tsunade, what brings you here?" Barry inquired.
"I was doing some chores in the city when Naruto called and told me what happened. I wanted to see how you were doing and get you something to help," Tsunade explained as she handed him a box of cupcakes from the city's greatest bakery. "I know the cupcakes have always helped Naruto and the kids when they are going through difficult times." "Thank you, Tsunade," Barry remarked as he enthusiastically accepted the box while longingly glancing at his suit. Tsunade remarked, "You miss it, don't you?" Barry nodded. "I didn't have my speed for long. But now that it's gone, it feels like a part of me has gone as well," Barry explained. "You're still you, Barry, with or without your speed," Caitlin said. "No, I'm not. I'm not the best version of myself," Barry said as Tsunade decided to give him the same advice she gave Naruto a while ago. "You know, Naruto went through something similar when Shizune and I first met him. A boy who had lost his world. Everything he hoped to be was dashed the day of his parents' accident, but Shizune and I saw the kind of man he was and the potential he had. I told him then the same thing I'm telling you now. What you lost will only define you if you choose it to, and Naruto chose it to." "Farouk Gibran," Cisco said as he entered, holding a tablet. Tsunade asked, "Excuse me. The Powers vampire who jacked your speed. I hacked into surveillance footage from the substation. Once I got his face, it was easy to find a match," Cisco explained as he showed them an article about him being injured in the particle accelerator explosion. On the night of the accelerator explosion, he climbed an electrical tower, Barry explained as he read the story. Caitlin commented as they heard the computer beep, no surprise where his powers came from.
Yep, Kurama exclaimed in alarm as Caitlin attempted to console him.
Cisco rushed over and discovered it was the security system. You've got to be kidding me. This isn't happening, Cisco exclaimed as Tsunade, Barry, and Caitlin approached Farouk outside Star Labs.
Dr. Harrison Wells, I need to see you. Come on, I know you're inside. Open the door, I just want to talk. Dr. Wells, let me in, Farouk exclaimed as he went out of the view of the surveillance camera. Farouk moved up to the main power junction generator outside of Star Labs and began taking all of the electricity from the city power grid as well as Star Labs. Barry, Caitlin, Cisco, and Tsunade watched as the lights, as well as the power and security systems, went out. When they heard an explosion that shook the room, Tsunade muttered, "That's not good."
As Dr. Wells pulled in, Barry said, "He's inside." "It's Farouk," Dr. Wells stated as Tsunade tried to phone Naruto but couldn't get through and received nothing but static. "I can't call Naruto. I can't get a call out," Tsunade stated as the others attempted and couldn't call either, receiving just static. "Nothing," Cisco replied. "It's Farouk, and his electrical powers are dampening anything electronic in close proximity to him," Dr. Wells explained as everyone feared. "I need my abilities back," Barry stated. "I have an idea that hasn't been tested. But it just might work," Dr. Wells stated as Barry agreed. "I'm willing to take a chance," Barry remarked. "Okay, you've lost your speed, but nothing has changed on a subatomic level inside you, so your cells are still primed," Dr. Wells explained. "All they need is a jump start," Cisco explained. Tsunade inquired, "How can we jump start him with the power out?" "The spare generator is out of commission. If we restart it, we might be able to get a charge large enough to recharge Barry," Cisco explained.
Dr. Wells explained, "We need something that can transmit the load from the generator to Barry without shorting out."
"The treadmill. My baby can handle it," Cisco replied.
Caitlin wondered, what if Barry can't? As Barry approached the door, Dr. Wells stated, "Well, that's up to Mr. Allen."
Tsunade inquired, "Where are you going?" Barry stated, "I'm going to talk to him." "No, that's a terrible idea," Tsunade said. "You didn't see him at the substation. He needed to feed. Naruto and I got super speed out of the particle accelerator blast, but his best friends died and he woke up with a disease," Barry commiserated. "Earlier today, you worked a crime scene where this metahuman electrocuted an innocent man. He's a murderer, and you're powerless against him without Naruto," Dr. Wells explained. "He might just need help like I did, and I don't need my powers to give it to him. I have to try," Barry stated as he walked away. 10 minutes ago. Back at Naruto's shelter, he was currently with Linda Park, both of them naked to their underwear. They were kissing on his bed, her on top of him, in a really intense and steamy kissing session. As Linda moaned, Naruto broke away from the kiss and moved to her neck, kissing it. Linda leapt in surprise as Naruto's hands caressed her back and began softly vibrating his hands. "Whoa, why did you stop?" "That felt amazing," Linda said, as Naruto smiled. "I'm just having fun. Are you concerned about moving too quickly?" Naruto questioned as Linda grinned and leaned up. "It's fine. I despise slow," Linda remarked, as Naruto smiled. He grabbed her and swung her around. "Oh, you're such a quick learner."
"So I've been told," Naruto remarked as he kissed her, and she returned the kiss. They were about to continue when the electricity went out and they heard the children in the shelter scream. "That can't possibly be good." And kind of killed the mood, Linda added as Naruto stood up and glanced out the window, seeing the rest of the city's lights go out.
"It's a citywide blackout," Naruto stated as Linda stood up and grabbed her phone, quickly receiving emergency messages and texts to report the news.
"And with a blackout comes news that needs to be reported," Linda explained as she stepped over to replace her blouse. "Where are my pants?"
Naruto snatched her pants from behind his bed. She took them as Naruto dressed in jeans and a t-shirt. "Well, this isn't how I expected the date to go, and we were just getting to the good part," Naruto joked as Linda laughed and kissed him.
"Don't worry, we'll be able to continue when the city returns to normalcy, but for now, I'm needed at the office," Linda explained as she put on her jacket. "Yeah, and Shizune's going to need me here," Naruto explained as he slipped on his sweater. "You want me to drop you off?"
"No, I'll be fine on my own. I can take care of myself. I'll see you later," Linda remarked as she kissed him goodbye and walked away. Shizune was setting up candles and flashlights when Naruto went out of his room and into the kitchen. "Naruto, where's Linda?" "She left for her job. How can I assist?" Naruto inquired, grabbing a flashlight.
I'm going to keep the kids together in the living room. Can you check the breaker and see if there's anything you can do?" Shizune said as Naruto nodded and dashed outside. He opened the breaker panel and saw that the breakers were in good working order. He tried resetting them in the hopes of restoring electricity, but he suspected that something was amiss with the city's electrical grid, causing the blackout.
Naruto returned inside and noticed all the kids in the living room with blankets, pillows, and books to keep them warm and entertained. Shizune scattered candles and lanterns for lighting. "Anything?" she inquired. "No, the breakers are fine. My guess is that something is wrong with the city's electrical grid. I'll go to Star Labs and see what we can do," Naruto replied as Shizune agreed. "Be careful, and could you look for Tsunade? I tried calling her but couldn't get through," Shizune cautioned as Naruto nodded. "I'll bring her back," Naruto responded, sprinting to his room and grabbing his backpack. He hurriedly opened it to expose his impulse suit before rushing out of the shelter and into the city. While running, Naruto examined his goggles, which were still operational, but the connection to Star Labs had been severed, and he couldn't send a signal to them. He came to a halt in an alley while sprinting when he noticed a massive concentration of blue and red lights 3 blocks away. Must be some kind of police emergency, Naruto thought as he looked around and noticed the incident was in the opposite way of Star Labs, but the police would need his assistance because the power was off. "I'm hoping it's nothing major." Naruto sped along the streets and came to a stop around the corner to find the police station surrounded by barricades, automobiles, and an emergency tent, as well as armed officers and SWAT personnel.
Something's wrong, Naruto realized as he ran up a building and came to a halt on the roof. He put on his thermal goggles and took a reading of 13 people in the police station. 12 of them were sitting, while the 13th was strolling around. It's a hostage situation. With my goggles, I can listen in on police streams. Naruto changed the radio frequency setting to the police stream Joe had gave Star Labs so he could hear everything. He noticed the police captain walking about with one of the radios in his hand, talking to the man inside who was keeping everyone hostage.
"Talkman. I am currently in command of 8 of Central City's finest, 3 underpaid assistants, and 1 very brave civilian girl. You've got demands. I want to hear them. But first, let the civilians go. Would you prefer I sent them out alive or dead?" The Clock King, Talkman. Like a psychopathic Sherlock Holmes, Naruto thought as he switched back to thermal to locate Talkman. "Well, I've broken the Mach 1 barrier, so hopefully I'm faster than a speeding bullet."
Naruto took a deep breath and dashed from the building's roof, around the rear of the police station, and into the garage. Naruto moved carefully in and out of the corridor, past the evidence room and toward the area where Talkman kept the captives. Naruto heard Talkman chatting and clutched the wall before carefully approaching the door. He peered out the window and saw the hostages sitting in a circle, with Talkman peering out the window.
Joe looked around and spotted Naruto in his suit at the end of the hall, motioning him to keep Talkman busy, and Joe agreed. "End this right now, and I'll talk to the DA." As Talkman gazed at him, Joe told him. "It was your district attorney who denied me furlough so I could pay one last visit to my dying sister. Say your final goodbyes to her in person." "Ah, time, I'll never be able to return." Talkman yelled angrily as Joe observed Eddie preparing to move and signaled him to stop. "So, however long I have in this life, I promise you that not one more second will be spent in a prison cell." Eddie then shot Talkman in the back while he groaned in pain. Eddie let down his guard, assuming that was the end of it, but Talkman gritted his teeth, pivoted, and fired a bullet at Eddie.
"Eddie!" Iris yelled as Naruto charged forward. As he saw the bullet depart the revolver and fly through the air towards Eddie, time seemed to slow down. Naruto ran as quickly as he could as he saw the bullet approaching Eddie, and when it was about a foot away, Naruto grabbed the bullet and tackled them out of the way. To Naruto, it felt like an eternity, but Talkman and the witnesses watched Talkman fire his gun in a blur save Eddie in the span of a second. "Interesting," Talkman stated as he approached the desks and noticed Eddie sitting on the ground, perplexed. When Naruto came around with his vibrating fist and sucker punched Talkman across the face, Talkman raised his gun and was about to shoot Eddie in the face. The hit was powerful enough to knock Talkman off his feet and through the window, where he was apprehended by police.
Naruto walked over to the glass and saw the cops taking the Clock King, so he super raced over to the captives and uncuffed them. He then exited the building as SWAT rushed it. Joe relievedly hugged Iris, quietly thanking Naruto for protecting them. Naruto arrived on the roof across the street, smiling as he realized he had saved the prisoners. He was now on his way to Star Labs. XXXXX line break back at Star Labs. Barry's effort to appeal to Farouk failed miserably, and he suffered as a result. Caitlin and Tsunade escorted him to the treadmill room while Cisco attempted to restart the generator and Dr. Wells proceeded to do something. Caitlin and Tsunade assisted Barry inside the treadmill room after he was injured by one of Farouk's blasts. They laid him down and examined the wound, which revealed a severe burn. "I'm not healing as quickly as I used to." Caitlin shook her head no, and Barry replied, "Don't worry, when Dr. Wells has a theory, he's usually right." Caitlin spoke up as Tsunade examined the wound and observed Barry in pain. She pushed his shirt away from the wound by rolling up her sleeves. "What exactly are you doing?" Tsunade looked at Barry as he asked. "Helping you." Tsunade remarked this as she took a deep breath and her hands began to glow green, which shocked Barry and Caitlin. She put her palm on Barry's wound, which hissed in pain, but the wound improved and the damaged cells began to mend. Tsunade walked away after a few seconds of touch, and Barry's wound was entirely healed. Things are getting a little easier. Tsunade collapsed to the ground, exhausted, as Caitlin and Barry assisted her. "Hello, Tsunade. Come on, come on." Caitlin replied as they assisted her in sitting up and leaning against the wall. Come on, come on. If something bad happens to you, Naruto will not be happy." "I'm fine, just tired. That drains a lot of energy from me," Tsunade said, trying to catch her breath. "You're metahuman." Tsunade smiled and nodded as Barry spoke. "Not all of us have superhuman speed. It turns out that the accelerator explosion amplified my natural inclination for mending people," Tsunade said with a chuckle. "How come you didn't inform us? Did Naruto find out?" Caitlin asked, shaking her head no. "He already had a lot on his plate without having to worry about me. Besides, I planned on telling him when I was ready," Tsunade said with a smile. Farouk was almost there, but Cisco turned on the lights just in time, distracting him. They attempted to restart Barry with the treadmill, which partially worked, but his powers did not return. Tony Woodward took them away from Farouk as Dr. Wells led him out to protect Barry. They then attempted to flee, but Farouk had them caught in the loading bay. Naruto dashed into the loading bay, where he witnessed Barry outrun Farouk and save Dr. Wells. As Farouk tried to blast him, Naruto pushed him from behind, sending him flying through the air, while Barry hit him in the chest and knocking him back. Farouk was thrown across the ground after colliding with one of the parked vans. "I apologize for being late, but it appears that you had it covered. It's good to have you back in action, Flash." As Barry smiled, Naruto said, "I never left. All I need is a break." When they watched Farouk get back up, Barry responded. He roared angrily as he fired 2 bolts of electricity towards Barry and Naruto, but they ducked and ran at him. As Naruto raced right towards Farouk and shoulder-checked him, Barry fled to the side. Farouk slid over the floor, but blasted Naruto with one of his lightning bolts. "Arg!" Naruto yelled as he felt himself being fried and Farouk becoming stronger. Farouk straightened up and fired another bolt, absorbing more energy as he felt himself growing stronger. Naruto screamed in agony as he stared at Farouk, watching the orange and white lightning drain from his body. "Arg! You desire power, then get it." As the others looked on in awe and shock, Naruto yelled and began releasing more and more energy. Farouk then came to a halt and collapsed to the ground like a ton of bricks, while Naruto fought to collect his breath.
"Naruto," Barry yelled as he hurried over to assist him.
"I'm fine. I'm fine." Caitlin, Cisco, and Tsunade, according to Naruto, ran over to check on him. Caitlin checked on Farouk, feeling for a pulse but finding none.
Caitlin declared, "He's dead." They transported his body to the pipeline and placed it in a bag until they could find a burial location. "We could have called him Blackout," Cisco stated.
"He had a nickname, Cisco," said Dr. Wells. "I'm just baffled by what happened. Farouk was stealing my powers, just like he did Barry's. How did it kill him?" Naruto inquired. "Because I believe your powers sensed what you were feeling and reacted accordingly. Here's a sample of your blood from our first meeting." Caitlin mentioned this while showing him a scan of his cells producing energy. She then showed him another photograph of his blood that she had taken a few minutes before. "Your cells are now producing more energy than ever before. It was too much energy for the meta to manage. It's as if he choked on you." "What exactly does that mean?" Cisco inquired. "I believe it means you took it up a notch," said Dr. Wells. "I ran the same test on Barry, and the results are the same. His cells are multiplying quicker than ever," Caitlin explained. "Looks like Impulse and the Flash are ready for the next level," Tsunade stated as they grinned and walked away at the end of a long day. While Naruto and Tsunade discussed her new abilities, Barry went to check on Iris and Joe. Dr. Wells went back to his secret room to update his log. "Good evening, Dr. Wells," Gideon stated. "Yes, Gideon, it is. Please bring up my log. There is a new entry. 312 days have passed since lightning struck. Subject A has made significant progress in the last 24 hours, prompting me to modify my initial thesis. His devotion to individuals, I reasoned, was a distraction, impeding his progress. Now I see the inverse is true. Barry's commitment to people, especially those he loves about, is the key to bringing him up to speed. In the meantime, there is good news. The future is still intact. This occurrence has also demonstrated that Subject B's future is altering, whether for the better or for the worse. What remains constant is that both subjects are critical to the overall endgame. As he finished his log, Dr. Wells said, "To be continued."
That's it for this part, guys. Thanks for listening to this video. If you did enjoy this part of the story, like, share, and subscribe for more. And thank you all for helping support, and have a great day.